Alright guys, welcome in. I'm working on putting together a full enchanting setup with Enchantment Industries. Right here I'm just showing how I bring the power down and around to keep it a little tucked away. Get those covered up, get the speed sensor or speed controller down, and just checking to make sure everything's connected. And since we got all this, bring back the disenchanters. This is where you're gonna stand to get any experience off yourself and put it into the system for enchanting, because realistically that's the only use for experience in Minecraft in general. And what happened here was since I'm going to big the little cog right there, that doubles the speed already, so if I try to put it to max, it breaks the system, so I had to go to 128 to get everything else running this way. It's only because of the way I transferred the power, but I figured it was the smoothest way. So I've got all of the blaze burners down that I need. And right now I'm just setting up a little way. I like to use this as the display for how much is in the tank rather than just looking at the tank. I find that to be boring and overused. So right now I'm just kind of playing around with getting this set up. If anybody's never done this, for fluid tanks you have to use the display link on a smart observer for it to actually get any read on a tank. Otherwise, it just thinks it's a boiler and it'll give you boiler status instead. So I go in here and put it like this, mark it EXP, put it on the bottom row just cause. Make sure. Then I come over here and check this, make sure it's displaying properly. Now that I got all that working the way it's supposed to, I'm going to set up the spot where I'm going to actually be depositing experience from my XP farm that you will see in a little bit. Had to come in and grab some of these funnels, because the way this works, up here at my XP farm, I collect these. So I come back down, make sure that's filtered for XP nuggets, and then get rid of that, because I can stick a chest right there. The compacting drawer that's up at the top of my experience farm, if you've never used the storage drawers mod, all the drawers kind of work like shulkers. So they hold everything that's in them and it stays in it until you empty it. Right now I'm working on the collection system for all the finished enchantments. Doing water channels underneath. No need to use power when it's unnecessary. Requires a slight bit more work to get all the kinks ironed out with this collection system, however, requiring zero power and almost no materials, just digging holes. So I think I have it done this time. I toss in a block to test whether it's working. But lo and behold, the finickiness of the way things like to move around, it didn't work out for me. So I go to check this one, make sure it's not an issue with it connecting to here. That's not the problem. So I get back to work and start trying to figure out what is going on. Toss one more in just to confirm it is not making it through. That is definitely not making it through. And off I go. Ended up figuring out a way to lift up this a level and have it drop down perfectly. Reorganized everything, get it to come down a lot smoother. Here's a retest. Throw it down, comes through. Boom, there it is. Now that I had that figured out, I can work on the actual collection. So what I do here is I use a barrel for my collection and using a funnel, which I don't have, I may need to go get one. But you go down and as long as you're shift clicking, it'll show an inward arrow. Do that, it'll collect everything up in the barrel. And just to get one more little test in to make sure it's collecting properly, toss that in there. And boom. Work on doing a little bit of this closing off. But then I start to realize I don't have what I need to actually get this all set up. I need sturdy sheets. So I get this disgusting temporary monstrosity just set up right here on the side, pulling power from what I'm already using and pulling lava from across the street. I just needed to get these together so that I can actually make the enchanting sheet doodads. I forget what they're actually called. Enchanting guide. Yeah. Unfortunately, they don't stack. Once I got done getting what I needed, I got to work tearing this back down, so I didn't have it just in the way. Now, it's time to go through and put some of these down. Now that I have access to making these enchanting guides, you put the enchants right in there. I'm gonna go through and stick one of these on every one of those. Now that I had the access to the enchanting guides, I head over to my traders using the easy villagers mod, by the way. Very helpful, lets you rotate through your enchants without having to break down, break down, put down with like turns and do that pain in the butt method. Now that I have all the enchants that I need, I come back over, get all the rest of these filled up with these enchanting guides. Go through the entire line, shift click, shift click, shift click. And now that these books are in here as well, they can actually absorb some experience. Because before then, they were still just blaze burners. Once you put the books on, they're blaze enchanters. Now to come through and put all the enchantments that they are going to be using in them. I pull these three aside because they're mutually exclusive with certain other enchants, so if you want them instead, then I put them over here on the side to make it easier to get some enchanted. And now I just go through, stick one of these in every single one of them. Getting every enchant that I want. Start with Unbreaking, because nearly everything can use Unbreaking. And from that point forward, I'm just kind of throwing them in the order that I have them set up so that I know that I don't repeat any. Go ahead and dump out all the levels that I have in myself from my previous experience tank. And now that they're all full, we can do a little bit of testing. Throw that on there. It's enchanting just fine. But it didn't kick over like it's supposed to. So I try again, thinking maybe it's a fluke. It is not. So I get to work putting together a little belt system. Because I remembered something. When you have a belt facing something like this, a depot, item drains, stuff like that, they bounce in the direction that they're pushed. So I think, you know what? I'll just connect a belt. Go ahead and get my, oop, not right click, Q. And let it go. Yep, it's bouncing across in the way it's supposed to. And it got all the way through, finished enchanting everything, and look at that beautiful headpiece. Alright, now that I actually have the system working and functional, let's head to the XP farm and let this build up. Go ahead and turn this bad boy on. This is a very simple XP farm. Definitely function over form. See you in a minute when or in a little while when I come back. Alrighty then. Now that I've let my XP farm run and get a good chunk of XP coming in here, all I do, grab that, head back down, and we're going to deposit this now into the system. All we do, put it right there. And now it'll unload all of that directly into the system. Just ticking up. Alright, and now that I have the whole thing prettied up and finished up and got everything sorted the way I wanted to, I ended up moving the sign up here. Have everything set. All you gotta do is drop all your equipment in this chest and it will enchant everything that's needed outside of specific things. So if you want a silk touch, then you're gonna want to come over and put silk touch on it first and then throw it in there. Same with fortune. Although I think I may have accidentally put fortune in there, so definitely do silk touch first if that's what you want. But, little side note, using a sequence gear shift, using these settings, pretty basic, I brought power up to a gearbox to a gear to a pump that pumps out with the XP. It is my repair button. See, I'm missing a little bit of durability on this pickaxe. I hit the button, it repairs. And since I'm standing on top of here, it goes right back into the system, not wasting any experience. But I figured it'd be a shame. I already fully enchanted all of my gear, including my jetpack and stuff. I didn't have any of my own gear left to enchant, but I had this spare set of iron gear sitting around. So I figured I'd show you guys how this works. Toss all this in here, it'll kick it out one at a time. Starts to enchant one spot at a time for all the stuff that it can do. And then I made it to where I can come in here and show you guys. Since it used the belt to push it forward instead of just clicking on it, it'll continue forward on its own. And everything that it applies to it that it can enchant to the piece, it'll stop and enchant it, and if it can't, like it doesn't apply, like looting won't apply, so it will skip right over the top of that to the next one, sitting on Depth Strider waiting. And now we got the pants waiting in line because they can't get enchanted with this. Those move, everything starts skipping forward, and they only stop on the ones that actually apply. And then at the very end, it drops into here where I have that water channel. And all leads back to over here where it all collects, as we'll see in just a moment. Boom. Iron boots fully enchanted for whatever reason. And then shortly after, everything else will be. Boom. Doesn't take a super long time, and I believe, if I remember correctly, using Enchantment Industries actually reduces how much experience is needed for enchants in total, especially when you're getting like this many on one piece. But yeah, that's how the enchanting setup works at my base. Let me know what you guys think. Comment anything you guys would want me to put in my base, and leave a like and subscribe.